Everybody, welcome to Pros Talking Pros, where we talk about pros with pros. Great catchy line, isn't it? Seriously, Stacey. Okay, so I'm getting over a flu and just got back from a vacation with my family. And every time I go to Disneyland, I come back with the flu. It's just nonstop. Never fails. It's fine. I'll get over it. But last week Troy kind of went rogue and he talked about taking rest. And this week I want to kind of not really bounce off of that idea, but I do want to kind of like not I do want to talk about craft a little bit here and go a little rogue myself. I recently watched a Cillian Murphy interview where he was asked at the end of his jobs if it's difficult for him to transition back to being a quote unquote civilian. He made it kind of clear that that was a something that he has struggled with, that sometimes after finishing a big project, a big filming project, he will come back from that and when it's all said and done and it's a wrap, that he kind of has this moment of like, now what? And I kind of feel like that happens a lot with authors that I've worked with. And it feels like I even go through that a little bit when I finish a big project and we hit publish and um, give the author all their IP back and kind of wait for the launch day to happen. It feels like it just kind of ends on a very bittersweet note. Um, because it's super exciting. It's the reason I do what I do. I love that moment of hitting publish and seeing the author's light inside of them just turn on. It doesn't mean that the work is over. Certainly doesn't. It actually it's just beginning at that point. Because being an author is not just hitting publish. It's about getting people to actually read those words. But on my end, it sometimes means the project kind of has tailors, down to this finite role, and I'm no longer putting a lot of the same amount of energy into that project anymore. And so it sometimes ends um in this moment of like, okay, now what do I do with this energy? And Killian in his interview talks about how it's kind of like this displaced energy and that you kind of need a moment to take a minute and pause and reset. And I kind of feel that a lot of authors, they have that feeling at the end of a project. They kind of have this displaced energy, and there's false expectations that come from that hitting publish. And so I kind of want to go through a little bit of those false expectations a little bit. One of them is that now that I've got my book out there and I've hit publish and it's on that platform or it's on that distribution course, that then now I'm going to be a successful author. Now people are going to find me and they're going to know me and I'm going to be huge. And unfortunately, the majority of authors that I work with, that doesn't happen. And a large percentage of them after that um, fail to capture the momentum of becoming an author and like continuing, and they will fall off the wagon. Um, and the purpose of a book is multifaceted. It depends on the author's goals and what they want that book to help them accomplish. But ultimately, a lot of authors that come into my ecosystem are looking for that livelihood of being an author, or a prolific author, one that continues to write. And if that's the case, if that's what you want to do, then I want you to not take that moment of pause that comes after a project is over and lose momentum and kind of like take too much time to not turn around and keep going. Uh, 2025 was a tough year for me. There was a lot of things that happened last year that have kind of like shifted the way I'm doing my business, and that happens every year. I have to admit it. Every year I have shifts. Every year I have pivots. Every year I have moments of like, oh, I need to do that differently because the industry has changed or shifted, or things are different. I'm different. So this next year is going to prove to be a little bit of a walking in the dark kind of thing, where I'm walking with my hands out in front of me and going, I hope I'm going the right way. Um, and we'll see how it works out. But as an author, I want you to make sure that you have goals that are lined out in front of you, so that you have a clear picture of why you do this business, so that you can continue to move past those little slumps in energy that happen. And they do happen. It's inevitable. It's kind of the way of the world. So focus and make that shift. One of the other things I wanted to kind of touch on a little bit on the craft of writing is make sure you're continually learning. Trends change. Humans are fickle beings. And so we're always looking for something new and different and fresh. And so you want to know what that new, different, fresh thing is, so that you can present that in a way that is going to appeal to the market you are selling your book to. Remember, you're the brand, the book is the product. So keep your marketing brain, your CEO brain alight of those trends, so that you just understand and know how to market to your audience. There are lots of shifting marketing strategies that are happening out there. Ads are not working the way they used to. Algorithms don't work the way we used to know how they worked, and things like that. So just make sure that you're constantly learning and growing and changing to adjust your marketing and business strategies, so that they can continue to adjust and grow and continue to move in an upward trajectory, so that you aren't falling off the boat, basically. And I promise I will be doing the same thing. Um, some other things that I wanted to point out in is that I'm working on a couple of webinars. This morning I taught one for Indie Author Magazine. It's on replay over there if you want to watch it. It was kind of like the publishing truths that aren't being talked about. You can find that over there. I'm also doing a monthly webinar. My first one for this year is tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And if you want to register for that, you have already missed it because I'm not publishing this until Saturday. But you can sign up for next month's. They're going to be live every month. And next month's webinar is going to be on my website. Hopefully this next hopefully I can get it all set up this next week. But anyway, check me out at printtopro.com. The other thing I kind of wanted to touch on, I just finished watching The Writing Life with Vincent Zandri, and he's in Italy still. He's a really sweet man. And he brought it to my attention that Scott Adams, I think is his last name, who wrote the Dilbert comics, has passed away. And that's sad to me. So I used to read the Dilbert comics all the time. I loved them. And I didn't even really understand them until I was an adult, but I used to read them as a kid. And then as I've gotten older, of course, the tongue in cheek, that's what he meant by that, comes out. But I'm sad to hear that he has passed. It is kind of interesting how, as I get older, the icons and the goats are all just kind of like moving on. And it's kind of sad for me, because it does kind of make me face my own mortality a little bit, and the legacy I want to leave. And so I kind of want to leave you as an author with that thought. Like, sometimes we forget that our time on this earth it's limited. We don't know the time or the place that we'll be taken. Um, and it is smart for us to kind of like live each day as if it is our last, because it is one of those things that, we take for granted, is the time that we're given. Time is not a renewable resource. It is actually not continually given to us. We have to remember it's precious, and that we should be grateful for the people in our lives. I am grateful for my family. I'm grateful for the support they give me and for the the antics that they put up with. And the time that I took to spend with them last week was precious. And so I want you to all remember that, and that the legacies that you leave are in the words that you write. And so I'm going to I'm going to end this podcast this week short as well. It's going to end on my why, which is the reason I do this business. When I started this business, this is probably, I think my 10th anniversary is coming up, for Edits by Stacey. When I started my business, I honestly didn't know why I was starting this business. I I was asked what I want to be when I grow up as a 40-year-old woman. And I said, I want to be an editor. And I looked into the courses that many other editors before me have taken, which, by the way, none of them are the same. So none of them are right or wrong. We all we all forge our own path, and I forged mine. But in that process, I realized what my why was. And um, in it was in helping authors publish their books. It was the light that I saw that came on in their eyes when they finally realized that their book was available for purchase and that people could actually read what they wrote. And seeing that light come on in them helped me understand why I do what I do. And so while I like to edit and I like to read, and that's not my that's not my reason. My reason is because when I see people who feel like their words need to be heard, and I see that they feel like, or I see the hope in their eyes that their words will be heard, I that makes me that turns all my cells into firecrackers. Like I love it. Um and so my why is this: when someone reads the words from other people, they have the opportunity to open themselves up to experiences and to um, perspectives that they probably wouldn't have heard or felt prior. And this world is full of hate and discontent and malice and negative, all kinds of negative, but it's also full of very beautiful, wonderful, happy experiences. And unfortunately, we are limited in our little bodies. Our human existence is limited to what we are capable of being able to do monetarily, um, geographically, whatever. Our circumstances limit us. And so we cannot in any way really fully experience what this world has to offer in just our one lifetime. And the only way to expand beyond those circumstances and to actually experience what life has to offer and to understand and empathize with our fellow human beings is to read what they write and to share our experiences with one another. And I think YouTube kind of helps with this a little bit. Vlogging helps with this a little bit. Podcasts help with this a little bit. I mean, this world is full of like information saturation, right? Like we're full of it. But the thing is that it's only when we're truly authentic and when we can open up to each other that we actually feel that human connection. This is why I don't believe AI will take over the world, because I think humans crave this. Humans really crave that human sharing feeling thing. Call it whatever you will. The woo woo of writing and being is your personal beliefs, but ultimately we are all made of the same stardust, and we all came to be on this earth at the same time, and we all have our own circumstances that shape who we are. And when we write books and we share what we're feeling, and we share, even in fiction, especially in fiction, we can share those things with each other, and we can understand and shape our thoughts and feelings and become more empathetic, better human beings. And I think that that's ultimately what we should be doing, is to strive to be better each day. And books help with that. And that's why I do what I do, is because I believe that nobody should be able to control the ability to share that perspective. So I'm passionate about that. I'm a little bit feisty about it, you could say. I'm willing to die on this hill. But I hope that helps inspire you a little bit to keep doing what you're doing, keep writing, push through the hard times, push through those little lumps and energy, and those times where you're like, okay, well, that's done. Now what? And I will do the same. Troy will be back next week. I'm hoping that we can talk about some really amazing trends in writing, and maybe some ways to help improve your writing as you go through 2026. And then we'll see what this year has in store for us. If you have questions or things that you want to discuss specifically about your project, you're welcome to find me at printtopro.com. I offer a free 1-hour consultation where you and I can sit down and we can talk about your project and see if there's something I can do to help you and push you in the right direction. Again, if you want free education, Troy and I are offering it left and right. You can go find him at theplotabides.com, and you can find me at printtopro.com. You can also find him at printtopro.com, but that's where you can find us. And we'll just see how this year ends up. Again, remember to keep your why at the focus of your goals, so that you can push through those difficult times, but also to like help motivate you and keep you centered and passionate about what you're doing. Stay authentic. It's okay to be naked when you're writing. I don't mean literally. I just mean that it's good to bare your soul. Sometimes that means being naked in front in a crowd, figuratively. So just, that's what people crave, right? Like they crave that connection. So be authentic in the way you approach your writing, so that they can see that and feel that. And again, if you have any questions about the publishing process or like what to do next or any of that kind of stuff, just hit me up at Print to Pro, and you can of course watch all of our podcasts. I'm gonna try to keep Troy on topic a little bit better this year. Boy tends to wander off a little bit, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will look forward to talking to you again next week. Take it easy.